Good morning, I'm Zev Fima, research analyst for Action Alerts Plus, here live on the floor of the NYSE with Jim Cramer. Catherine has the morning off. Jim, there hasn't been too many updates on China. We're kind of floating around just below all-time highs. What's top of mind?
Well, to me, top of mind is this rotation so vicious. It's incredible. We bought some Goldman Sachs. It looked like a real bad buy. It's up 20 quick points. We bought some Caterpillar. It looked like a terrible buy. Well, it's back to where we got it after what was just an incredible downdraft. We bought some Twilio, and that's getting killed. And I think that what you're going to find is that I think that this big rally in these lower multiple stocks and the sell-off in the higher multiple stocks is going to prove some opportunities to be able to scale out of some of these low multiples that have been not so great and get into it. I mean, I'm looking at a stock like Merck. It is down 10 straight points. Keytruda could be one of the greatest drugs of all time. So this is an opportunity. We don't own Merck. I'm giving you, this is the free show. We talk about our drug stocks in the paid, but they're just giving these stocks away. And what you have to do is you have to start buying, going against this trend, whether it be the payment processors, whether it be some of the drugs. I'm not saying you have to sell the Walmarts to the Home Depots. I am saying that if you ever wanted Merck, you're getting your chance. And I know it's out of favor. I know the market wants Chevron. I know the market doesn't want McDonald's. I know the market wants BP. It doesn't want Disney. But sometimes you have to go against the grain and start buying some of the ones that are being thrown away.
And the stocks are down, but nothing's changed as far as the company goes. So still a good investment.
We had Zoom last night. The Zoom story's terrific. Stock's down quick 20. The stock bounce was down daily today, and then came back. What you're looking at, I think, and just everybody has to understand this. There can be big accounts that are selling $1 billion with a high growth, and that can crush the market because there's no natural buyers underneath anymore, and there's no facilitation by a brokerage house. No brokerage house is going to say, listen, I'll take that portfolio off your hands. So if you want to know which stock to watch that is lower multiple of the high growth, watch Merck, okay? And then otherwise watch Zscaler, which reports tonight. And those are the two that are going to define this moment.
All right, I'm sure we'll talk Zscaler tomorrow, how the quarter was. So, Jim, let's take it to China real quick. Last night we got the biggest decline in PPI in 3 years. This follows a decline in exports.
Right.
Are we looking at the potential of a deal now that they're hurting, or is this where Trump goes for the jugular?
Navarro came on today, and he's adamant. Key man on trade for the president. He's adamant that the Chinese need the deal. I think they need a deal too. But the issue is that the consumer economy is quite well there. So Xi does not feel as under pressure. You need to see real bank failures. If you get real bank failures, you are going to see a deal. And there haven't been. Now, a lot of people feel that Xi's president for life. There is a convocation of the Communist Party on the 100th anniversary coming up. And he may not survive that. And I think people really don't understand that it would be the hardliners that come in, by the way. But we're going to have hardliners coming in if Elizabeth Warren wins, and hardliners coming in if Xi's out. No one's talking about Xi being out. That is certainly a possibility. I wish people would understand that the Communist Party does not just sit there and take a decline in growth and just say, listen, we're going to just not worry about it.
Especially with GDP teetering on that 6% level.
Yeah.
So coming back home for a second, we have the Apple event later today. What are we looking for as far as the products? How should investors be approaching it?
All right, now you have to understand that there are two Apples. There's Apple, the hardware, and there's Apple, the software. I do believe that Apple has some, you'll be surprised when you see the trailer of how good Apple programming might be. I think it's going to surprise people. Wearables, they're not going to give you any numbers, but wearables are on fire. With any other company, this wearables would be propelling the stock. And just take a look at Capri Holdings, and you'll know they used to be a watch company with fashion, and they've just been crushed by the watch. The service revenue stream, I think, is very strong. I think the service revenue stream will tide them through whatever occurs in terms of the transitions. But I think that the stock is not going to be liked because there's too many people who've been waiting for this moment to tell you to sell it. And so that's what you have to worry about. At least it's not flying right into the meeting, which would be really hurtful.
Right, these do tend to be seldom news events. And real quick, for more coverage on Apple, this is our real money stock of the day, so be sure to get over there.
We have some very good stuff. And remember, this is a long day. And a rotation is something that, again, I'm going to focus on Merck for a second. The rotation is something that someone who has waited for Merck for 10 points is going to say, I got to start. So don't just feel that there's nothing but selling. This is the day, it's been almost a week, where you're going to start when people are going to start saying, you know what, I got to get interested. But you need to see stocks like 3M and Chevron level out before you start seeing the buying in Merck. I would start in some of these high multiple stocks right here, and don't get caught up. Now, one other name for us and Action Alerts, watch United Health. That's a name that's been under pressure for months because of Elizabeth Warren.
Medicare for all.
Yeah, and I think that single payer would be, of course, disastrous for UNH. That was said by the CEO 2 calls ago. UNH has become cheap for the first time in many a year, and so that's one to look at too.
So, Jim, talk to me a little about your real money column. We're talking about trends to invest on millennials. You spoke to the CEO of Dollar Tree yesterday. What do you see in there?
Well, the millennials price check. The millennials look at, don't really believe in national brands. If they see something that's similar, they buy it. They look at the labels. And the millennials do flit. I mean, the millennials like camping. It doesn't seem like they like that anymore. Millennials like cruises. Doesn't seem like they like them anymore. Now, everyone claims they have millennials, but the millennials do turn. And but the one thing that they are very conscious about is bargains. So if you think that the campers, I mean, Airstream's like $100,000. That's too high. If you think that the cruise ships, which they've raised prices, don't have any choke point, well, I would point out that Netflix even has a choke point. I mean, people are worried about Netflix and Apple TV and Disney TV. Remember, the difference between Apple and all these others is Apple has the hardware. They could afford to almost give this stuff away. And I think people have to recognize Apple has a history of trying to get you hooked. Right. Remember, they haven't announced price yet. Trying to get you hooked. And then once you're hooked for a while, not instantly, then they put through a price.
Right, they get you into that ecosystem, and then you're kind of ready to pay whatever.
Very strong.
Jim,
now,
switching it up.
See, another one to look at, by the way, is American Express. It's down horribly. It had a very, very good quarter. It's perceived to be a company that has a great China business if the Chinese government says yes. So that's got a double. It's got China, if you think China's going to go up, and it's also cheap now. Remember, I'm not forecasting good days here. I am saying that there's finally some bargains, but this may be day one of the bargains.
Right, so buy slowly, average in on the dips.
Yeah, what I'm going to talk about in our conference call on Thursday,
right,
which is that don't get crazy. Don't get crazy, but you look at an IBM. Let's say you believe in IBM because of the yield, okay? And they did this deal with Red Hat. Don't go crazy. The stock just went up 10 points. So we've already had a big rotation into these slower growth names. And this is not a good sign to have a whippy market like this. But even though it's a whippy market, there will be bargains created. It's just that if you buy Merck at 79, you may have to buy it at 77. You may have to, but it would be good to buy.
Right, so we buy slow, average in. And because Jim did mention the monthly members call, I just want a quick correction from yesterday. It's this Thursday, not Wednesday, at 11:45 a.m. So be sure to check that out. You can sign up for a free trial membership for Action Alerts. Plus, gets you full access. I know Jim's been working on it all week.
Yes, I mean, I've got some good stuff that is reflective on some of the things that we've done since the last call. I'm always surprised that there are people who watch us that don't trial it. When I was a hedge fund manager for a very long time, I sent a letter every quarter. I did not give you the kind of detail that I give you every month. And I think that if you trade or own stocks or want to invest, I think the call is a must. And I'm very proud of it. And I say this, club members know that this is a very important thing for me. And my wife doesn't like it because I really hunkered down this week to do it. I also do fantasy. That's okay. We got our fantasy show coming up today and Thursday. But, I don't get it if you don't trial it. I just don't get it. You should try it. I mean, if you're trying to figure out why JP Morgan is at 116 and Twilio's at 108, I got the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to get there. Check it out. Most important thing we do on a monthly basis. This Thursday, 11:45 a.m. Jim, I wasn't going to let you go there without talking some fantasy. You're talking with Bill Enright today, bullmarketfantasy.com, 10:45.
Yeah, we're going to
what are you guys talking about?
Are the Ravens real? And the Ravens are up gigantically. So we have a Ravens maven who knows the Ravens better than anyone. Remember, they had the biggest score this week. They really ran it up. And so I want very much to explain to people how this program is the program that you need to be able to figure out who to drop and who to add. There's a drop and add program today, and I think it's going to be very exciting. Hey, one other that I would like to add, McDonald's down 8. It's kind of interesting. down
Very
8.
interesting, especially,
Just because of Wendy's coming in, and McDonald's has got a new voice technology, and I've been waiting for McDonald's. See, one of the things that I've been doing, and this is really important, I've been waiting for McDonald's to come down. So what you have to do is when it finally comes down, you can't say, oh my God, I don't want to buy McDonald's. What you do is you say, okay, it's down 8. When it's down 8, it could be down 10, right? Anyone who sells down 8 could sell it down 10. They could even sell it down 12. So why not, if you wanted to buy 200 shares, buy 50 here. Buy 50, and then wait.
Everyone wants that correction until it comes. Well, here's your correction.
Yeah, here it is. And I've been saying, I've been saying over and over again, wait for the pullback, wait for the pullback, wait for the pullback. Well, when McDonald's is down $8.30 and is now down big from 220, that's the pullback. But it doesn't mean it stops at 208. It means that you buy some at 208, you buy some at 204, then you probably buy some at 198, and then 194. That would be if you wanted 200 shares. How you doing?
All right, for the guys, there you have it, Jim. I know you got to get out of here. We got to get to bullmarketfantasy.com at 10:45. For those watching on Facebook.com for Facebook or TheStreet.com, be sure to jump over to our action alerts only call at actionalertsplus.com. Catherine will be back tomorrow. See you then.